Good morning, Rabbi Isai. We're in the middle of a terrible, terrible tragedy, in the middle of a terrible, terrible war. And based on a psak from Gdolei HaPoskim in our neighborhood, I am attending to a family affair now in an undisclosed location. Be'ez Hashem, everything will go back to normal, and the regular programming of the shiur will go back to normal. So for now, I just would like to say Kapitel Tehillim, the zechus, the Refuah of all those who need a Refuah. They say there's over 2,500 Chayalim, terrible injuries and all sorts of things. I want to say the same Kapitel Tehillim for those who were captured and are under very, very hard circumstances. Shira Malos. Mimama kim krosicho Adonai. Adonai shemo bikoili tieno aznecho kashuvois lekoi tachanunoi. Im avoinois tishmoria Adonai mi yamoid. Kimcho aslicho leman tivorei. Kivisi Adonai kivso nafshi viledvarei cholti. Nafshi l'Adonai Mishomrim laboiker shomrim laboiker Yachel Yisrael El Adonai Kim Adonai Chesed V'Arbei Moifedus V'Hu Yivdes Yisrael Mikol Avonisov Achenu Kol Beis Yisrael Anasunu B'Tzor V'Shiv Yehoimdim Bein Bayom U'Bein Bayabosh Hamokim Rachim Aleim Yitzim B'Tzor Levachim V'Velo Oiro U'Mishibud Legulo Hashto V'Agalov Zman Koriv V'Nimaro Mein. Today's shiur is sponsored Zechus, all those who need a Refuah Shlema, and all those who need to come home safely from their terrible situation in captivity. The shiur is sponsored, the Masechta, by Lakewood Lebovic families, Lakewood, New Jersey, because torah and achdus are the best segula. Peretz Chaim the last day, as it's zechus that our family should be blessed with health, simcha, and nachas for 120. Amen. And thank you for the sponsorship. Peretz Chaim, last day, Hatzlocha, zechus, Yosef, Miriam, and Rochel. Hatzlocha, and thank you for the sponsorship. Peretz Chaim, Elan Chaim Golan, Leiluy nishmat, Batsheva Chaya bat Miriam. Peretz Chaim, Leiluy nishmat zechurya ben Mosze. Peretz Chaim, Leiluy nishmat Chaya bas Yosef. Peretz Yomi, by Mosze Szlafrok Family in the zechus of the safety and success of our holy Chayalim. Peretz Yomi, the second one, I dedicate the shiur to my nephew who has been called to the front, and to all the Chayalim who are bravely about to go into the war zone, and to all of Klal Yisroel, particularly those who are in peril. Hashem should watch and protect all of us. And my own nephew, Mayor Simcha Katzberg, Mayor Simcha Ben Adina, gewaldige guy, he's mamish on the front lines. HaKadosh Baruch Hu should watch over him and all of those youngsters, all of our Chayalim. The heart of the month is Ben Chaya Sorah for all the zechusim that come from supporting Limud Torah. It's not only the Chayalim, it's the parents of the Chayalim. They also need a lot of support and emotional support and sleep. They don't get to sleep much. Their minds wander, and terrible news comes back, and this one got injured, and this one got killed. And they say, wow, I hope I could hear from my son. And it's very difficult to communicate, as you know. So everybody, this thing should be over as fast as possible, and we should all get back to the regular scheduling. Rabbi said, don't forget, Shnai Mikra V'Echad Targum. Few days we're going to be learning Parshas Bereshis. This is a great time to jump on the bandwagon with everybody else. Don't forget, we'll start talking about it. Don't forget that we're going to have a Shabbos of achdus of all of Klal Yisroel, of all types of people. Don't forget to sign up for that. Rabbi Yosef was starting a brand new perek, which starts on Nun Chesam Beis on the bottom. Today's Daf Nun Tes. Made a bracha. We're talking about a not such a good situation where a person sends his friend to get him a kala. There's a girl out there, so and so. I want you to give her Kiddushin for me. And he went and he stole her. So you would think that maybe Chachamim punished him. He didn't do the right thing. Now, he didn't use his friend's money. He used his own money. Nevertheless, he's a bad guy. He heard about her through his friend. His friend said, I want to get engaged. Mekudesh is Lasheni. She's Mekudesh to the second one, and we don't punish him. It's not the nice thing to do. You notice the Mishnah says the word v'holach v'kitch instead of just v'kitch alatzmai. Gemara discusses that word. V'cheina oimer li isha ared mekudeshes li lachas shloshim yom. Tells a woman, you are mekudesh to me after 30 days. Here's the money. Here's the Mosze Kiddushin. But the chalois, it's going to apply, the money I'm giving you today, it's going to finish up after 30 days. It's a yeshivish word, but Rashi brings it. It's the chalois. And another person came along within the 30 days, mekudesh to the second person. The Gemara is going to discuss. Bas Yisrael lekoyin tachal b'truma. So much so is she mekudesh to the second person that if she's the daughter of Yisrael who doesn't get to eat truma, but the second guy is a kohen, she gets to eat truma. From now until after 30 days, exactly what did he mean? Did he mean to say that it starts now, ends there, it's a tanai, did he take it back? What exactly is going on? The Gemara is going to discuss. We don't know what he meant. Did he mean that the Kiddushin should be today, and therefore when the second guy comes along, it's 0 for the second guy? Or when he said from now, then he took it back and he said later, so maybe he wants to be Mikadosh for later. Let's see the Gemara. If she's trying to eat truma now, she can't because we don't know who she's engaged to. Is she engaged to the first or the second one? Says the Gemara, now, I just want to tell you a story, similar but in the reverse. There was a guy in Bnei Brak who didn't like a certain fellow in his yeshiva, so he decided to take revenge, and he pulled off a prank. He told him, listen, I have a great shidduch for you. Are you interested? She's about Smida, she comes from a wealthy family, all the miles. The guy says, sure. She says, okay, go meet her. She's in this building, this in this apartment, 8 o'clock. She goes, knocks on the door, the father opens up, and he says, I'm here for the shidduch. And the father says, shidduch? And then the father says, oh, yeah, the shidduch. The father realized that this poor guy was pranked on Nebuch from the yeshiva. So to make him feel better, he said, okay, fine, my daughter's just getting ready. He goes, tells his daughter, listen, do this guy a favor. So he should, not to, maybe you'll sit and talk to him for 10 minutes, pretend it's a shidduch, and then whatever. And then it turned out that they got married. It was a shidduch. So this shyster, the initial guy, the prankster, he comes and he knocks on the door and he says, listen, I'm the shadchan, I deserve shadchanas. So I think it was Reb Zilberstein. It makes sense that Reb Zilberstein said, take the guy, throw him down a flight of stairs. Don't worry about the shadchanas. Okay. Says the Gemara, he was sent to make a Kiddushin. And instead of making Kiddushin, he gets engaged himself. Says the Gemara, so whatever happened. This is a terrible thing to do. It's Ramos. It's cheating. He didn't act in good faith. He was told to be Mekadosh, and he's Mekadosh for himself. The Rambam calls him a Rasha. Nikra Rasha. But it works. The Kiddushin works. It says in our Mishnah, Holach. He went. It's an extra word. It should say, for himself. But it doesn't say that. It says v'holach. Holach. What does holach mean? He went. Holach biramos. He went on a path of cheating, of being deceitful, not being noig in the right way. Says the Gemara. So if you notice, this is Bavli versus Yerushalmi. A lot of our Gemara, the whole Shas, is full of question answer. It's a way. It's a certain. It's a way of teaching Yerushalmi, for instance, is just telling you the reason why it says ha'oim l'chaveira and not ha'oim l'shlucha is because this and that. It's a question. Why does it say over here ha'oim l'chaveira? The Mishnah we learned, if you tell your shliach, go be mekadosh a woman for me from this and this place, and he went and he's mekadosh for a different place, but it says shlucha over there. Why doesn't it say the word chaver in both places or shliach in both places? It says Gemara, Hacha Rebuz Gemashmal, Rebuz Gemashmal. There's a Kiddushin in both places. Hacha Rebuz Gemashmal, the Tana Shlucha, have Amina Shlucha, Hu Davar Amoy. The song of Daite. So a shliach is somebody that goes special for you. Here, let's not forget to show this cartoon. It's slide 1 that Yoshi did. Basically, here's a shliach that's a ramai. He's a frog. And he's, instead of being Kaddish for the other guy, he's Kaddish for himself. It says in Gemara, if it would say by us shliach, I would think a shliach is somebody who goes special for you. You asked him, you paid him, whatever it is. You hired him to go be your agent and be Kaddish woman. Who da have a ramai? The song of that day. I rely on you. I figured that if I hire you, you're going to do what I asked you to do. I bought my friend. I don't trust you that much. You're my friend. You're going there anyway. Okay, once you're there, pick me up 3 oranges and a wife. The wife didn't work out so well. Okay, not a big deal. And over there that says shlucha. If it says, tell my friend, why is it when I tell my friend to catch another place, the torah, he's not going to work hard to be mekadosh in this place, be megarish in this place. But when I hire somebody, so I'm just giving you an idea where she might be. No, it's not just an idea where she might be. I want you dafka to be mekadosh in this place, not in that place. Why? Like we said this far back there. This place, I know I have a lot of friends. They're going to stick up for me. They're going to say nice things in the shidduch. Over there, who knows? Maybe the Shiva doesn't like you so much in that place, and they'll say bad things about you. Says Gemara, some amazing stories. Rav and Chasido, Rav and Chasido went, Gemara says he's a chassid, not some person. He went to be mekadosh a woman for his son. You don't really tell your father to do something like that. Okay. Whatever. He didn't really make him shliach, taisvis. Okay. So what happened was, sorry, I skipped here. So let's say again. He went to mekadosh a woman for his son. When he got there, he said, you know what? Maybe she's a good shidduch for myself. A father did that to his son, not some father. Rav and Chasidah. As the Gemara, I could do something like that. It says in the Gemara that he's a ramai. Says Gemara, he went in good faith to mekadosh the one for his son. She didn't want. She said, no, I want you. You're a bigger gadol. I want you. Says Gemara, very good. But nevertheless, he should have come back home and said, listen, son, I have bad news. She doesn't want you, but she wants me. Isn't there a concept called v'yisim nekiyim? You have to be clean. You can't have people say things about you. Now you're going to think that I'm a ganav, I'm a ramai. I want you to know she wasn't willing to marry you. And then go back. Says the Gemara, Savar adahachi v'hachi asa inish achrina mekadosh lo. Just recently, mamish recently, there was a line of people, and they were waiting for one thing, and I knew that to the right, there was no line, it was for something else. So I went there, and I saw somebody pointing at me, and saying something to his wife. So I got out of the line, I went over to him, I said, no, I don't want you to think that I skipped the line. That over there is for this. You're probably on this line for that. He goes, yeah, I didn't. Yeah, okay, sorry. I was saying, there's a concept of v'yisim nekiyim. You don't want people to say things about you. They're going to say, he's a bad guy. He stole a wife. No, he didn't steal the wife. She didn't want to marry you. Says Gemara, the reason why I didn't tell him, she was such a great catch. Maybe by the time he goes and tells his son, he gets back, it's going to be too late. Very interesting. Says the Gemara, Reb Elchanan gave money to Rav. Rav, the famous Rav. Omar, you're going there anyways, please pick up a piece of property for me. Could you please purchase this property? So Rav went and bought it for himself. As the Gemara from our mission, you could see that's not the right thing to do. If somebody wants something, he asks you to do it, and you do it for yourself, it works. It's after the fact. You're still a rabbi. You're a ganav. You're a liar. Says the Gemara, that plot of property was owned by the mafia, bad guys, hard people to deal with. L'Rav nagim b'kovid. L'Rav Reb Elchanan lo nagim b'kovid. They wouldn't sell it anyways to Rav Reb Elchanan. To Rav, he has special pull, and he knew them well. Then that's something different. Says the Gemara, but nevertheless, he should have gone back and said, "Listen, they don't want to sell to you, the tough guys, but they'll sell to me. Is it okay? Do you mind?" Says the Gemara, same thing. Maybe someone will come and chop it. Says the Gemara, Rav Gidel wanted to purchase a piece of property. Rabbi Abba Zavno. Rabbi Abba came underneath and bought it. It happens today. Somebody wants to buy a house in Lakewood. This is the price. The guy comes underneath and buys it. Also, Rav Gidel was upset and he went to Reb Zera. Rabbi Isai, I would like to zechus all those who are in danger and zechus all those who got injured. Maybe perhaps today, Daf Yomi, start this Chofetz Chaim initiative. I don't know how to do it exactly. I have to do some homework. But today we could do the first day. If it doesn't work out tomorrow, we'll do it a different day. But here's the question. Is this okay to go to Rav Gidel goes to Reb Zera and says, Rebbe, so-and-so, I tried to buy property and went and he stole the property from me. Is that okay? Is that Lashon Hara? What is he going to gain from it? Is it too late? Maybe it's not too late. Maybe even though he purchased the property, he could give it to Rav Gidel. Was Rav Gidel over in Lashon Hara? No, what do you say? So the Chofetz Chaim says over here, mamash on this, that it's usher to tell somebody, hey, so-and-so stole from me. A lot of people think it's okay. So-and-so is a ganav, so I have to tell. The more people I tell, the better. So he says, no, it's not okay. It's only okay to tell your Rebbe if you know that he could do something about it, and he'll change that guy. By him talking to that guy, the guy will give you back the money. But it's time to tell people, if it's not 100% for Tayelas, it's usher. If you know that that'll help them, you know that they're doing business with them, you know they'll help you, then it's okay. Also, Reb Zera So Reb Zera went and met Reb Yitzchak Regel. He comes up for Yantav to be Oile Regel to see the Rebbe. When he comes, let's ask him. Kisolik Ashkechai. When he came up Lila Regel, he bumped in to Rav Yitzchak Napcha. So this is Reb Abba Zavno. Reb Abba, he came up. Okay, he's the one that stole the property. Omar Lei, so Rav Yitzchak Napcha asks Reb Abba, you have a poor person who's trying to pick up a loaf of bread. He's starving, and then another guy comes and chaps it. Like kids at an ofruf. Candy goes flying, you go in, you try to pick it up, kid comes. You're at a baseball game in the outfield. All of a sudden, the guy hits a home run. You take out your glove, you're about to catch it. It's going in, and then all of a sudden somebody comes in, grabs it. Mutter also. Now, according to Rashi, those would be taka asur. So he says no. So he says dafka in a case of business. But hefker, there's no ani. So in a baseball game, I'm allowed to grab the ball right in front of you. Why? Because I can't get another ball. You can't tell me, go somewhere else and purchase a ball somewhere. There's one home run this game. There's one pekala that fell in the ofruf. By hefker, there's no ani b'charas. But when it's a business, I'm trying to buy a piece of property, so I can tell you, listen, go buy another piece of property. So you all know we have a great zechus to have Rabbi Schoenberg in our shiur. He sits like 4 people from me on the right side, my right. Big Talmud Chacham, Yirei Shemayim, writes articles every week in learning for Or Merkaz. So he said that about 50 years ago, he was trying to purchase a house in London for, I think it was, he said, £15,000. Today it's worth like £1.5 million. And as he was about to buy it, he was looking for a mortgage, the way it works. He said he made a deal with the guy, nothing in writing, deal, I'm going to buy it. And then you go and maybe it is something in writing, but the way I understood it's not a solid deal. And you go and you try to get a mortgage. In between him getting a mortgage, another firm guy offered another £500 and tried to take it from him. So Shlomo said to the guy, hey, ani ma'abech b'charar. Mamish, like we're learning. So the guy said, I'll back down, but if the mortgage doesn't go through, I get it. He said, fine. I think that's the story. I hope I didn't batch it up too much. The point is that Reb Schoenberg knew this idea of ani ma'abech b'charar and went to him. And the guy had Yerushalayim, and the guy said, okay, you're right. It's a great house. I'll back down from it. I didn't realize that you want it. So, Zok the Gemara. What's the halacha? He asked him, what's the halacha? Omar lei nikra Rasha. If you do something like that, you're a Rasha. Oh, I got you. You yourself did that last year. Remember, before Yantif, you bought a piece of property, even though, who was it that wanted it? Rav Gidol. I didn't know that he wanted it. I had no clue. So he tells him, okay, very good. It's a great excuse. You didn't know. But you have to cough up the property. Give it to him. I can't sell to him. This is an idea not to sell your first property that you purchase. There's such an idea. It might be based on the Gemara we learned in Saita that 4 days before Yitzir Zavlad, there's an announcement that Shemayim, so-and-so to so-and-so. And this field to this person. Oh, if you remember in the end of Gitin, we learned that it's not a good idea to get divorced from your Zivig Rishon. Zivig Rishon, that's what was meant for you. Same thing maybe for a piece of property. That's your property. What happens afterwards, the second property, third wife, fifth wife, that's something else. First property, maybe, it's based on that idea. They shouldn't get rid of your first property. That's what Min HaShamayim they want you to have. Zog the Gemara. Oh. But I'm not trying to use this idea of a segula or whatever, don't sell your first property, in my advantage. I'll give it to you as a gift. By the way, there was a Mosze Shaya where a guy went to a certain Baba and he asked him about a beautiful mansion on the beach in Herzliya. He says, let me hear about the details. Should I buy it, not buy it? Yeah, it has a beautiful view. It has so many bedrooms, and it's just beautiful. Everything doesn't need any work. It's just perfect. The price the guy's giving to me for a crazy, crazy price. So the Bible said, no, absolutely not. Not in Herzliya. You don't buy in Herzliya. You have to look for something else. The guy finds out later that it was sold, and who was it sold to? It was sold to the Baba. Okay? I don't know the end of the story. So they went to Reb Zilberstein, and Reb Zilberstein said, I have no idea what the end of the story is. Says the Gemara. So, I'll give it as a gift. I'm not going to sell it to him. Says the Gemara, Rav Gidol loy noches lo, dichsiv v'sonim aton tzichya. Rav Gidol doesn't want a gift. Rav Abba loy noches lo mishum, da'abach be'o Rav Gidol. And listen to this, Rav Boy said, Rav Abba didn't want this piece of land because he was afraid of onim abach b'charara. Loy mar noches lo, v'loy mar noches lo. Neither of them went into the property. Umiskario are the Rabbanon, and at the end of the day, they called it the Rabbanon's field because the owners didn't want it. The real owner didn't want it. The potential owner didn't want it. It just fell to the Chachamim. Maisa I said over before with Reb Nisim Karelitz, his neighbor came to him and said, listen, when you did your cement work, the new renovation of cement, so some of the cement fell into the pipes and caused a big blockage in my house. I want you to pay. He says, how much? He says, 600. It's okay, so he gave him 600. So later on, somebody said to him, but I don't understand. How do you know if he really happened, not happened? So he says, listen, first of all, that neighbor's plumbing is on the other side of the building. I don't have any plumbing that if something would fall in, that would go to him. That's number one. Number two, I didn't even do that kind of work with the cement, what he's saying, so it's not even me. But maybe I had a third reason also. He says, yeah, if some of the cement would fall into the pipes, all the water and everything would just wash it away. It's not going to harden there like he's saying. So Zayda, how come you paid him the 600? He says, it's not worth fighting with a neighbor over 600 shekel. He wants the money, here's the money, even though I know 100% it's not me. Sometimes you got to be mevater. I don't want the field because I didn't realize that you try to buy it. You don't want the field because you are makbid on matanas, you don't want a matana, and therefore vitor goes to Klal Yisroel, goes to the Chacham. Lemaisa, if you have any fields like that, any real estate that you want to give away, matanas, you don't want it. If you on that madrega, don't worry about it. You can just give it to MDY. We'll put some of it towards the Shabbaton, help people out. A person tells a woman, you should be mekudesh to me after 30 days. And somebody comes in the middle of the 30 days in Kaddish. Says Gemara, and what if somebody didn't come? She's mekudesh to the first one. And what's the chiddush? Even though she used up all the money, there's nothing left after 30 days. So where's the Kiddushin? What's the problem? Perhaps you're going to view this money as a loan. And milvelates on it. You're supposed to use a loan. You could use a loan. So he gave her nothing at the end, like we said. Or perhaps this money is a deposit. And if it's a deposit, you need at least one pruta worth left over. Says Gemara, it's not a loan and it's not a deposit. It's a real Kiddushin. And she used up her Kiddushin money. So, with that, I'm being Mekadosh you after 30 days. My time, it's neither. It's not a deposit, it's not a loan. Why is it not a deposit? The deposit is you use it in when it's owned by the owner, the original, the guy that makes the deposit. But over here, the woman got to use it. This is the bigger chiddush. Loan is to use. He gave her this money for Kiddushin, and therefore, when she used it, she used up her own money for Kiddushin, and now he's just using that money that he gave her for Kiddushin, he's using it now. And what if, so he says 30 days, so what if she takes it back within the 30 days? So now we have a major machloikis in Shas. Could you take something back when it's verbal? Could you take back a verbal promise? Basically, there's one verbal sentence undo a previous verbal sentence. So the Gemara, machloikis. My words have the power to undo my previous words. So Rochel, no. Once she made up, she's going to get married. That's it. She can't take it back with a verbal word. Eisvei words. Eisvei Reb Elchanan Pressman. So now Reb Elchanan is going to try to knock Reb Elchanan. Then Reb Elchanan is going to have his turn. A person that owns a crop and he sends a shliach to separate the truma and the meiser. Bitel, and then he calls up the agent. He says, "Hey, please stop! Don't do what I told you to do." If he was able to catch him on the phone before he took the truma, then he shouldn't take the truma. If he did, it's not truma. Ask the Gemara about how can he take it back. He sent him. It was a verbal command. And then he tried to undo the verbal command with another verbal command. It's different. When you give the woman money in the beginning, there's somewhat of an act. A little bit of a maisa. And therefore a verbal retraction cannot undo a verbal command plus action. In the beginning there was a verbal command, I want to get engaged, plus there was money involved that was given to her, so there's a little bit of a physical action. That's 2 against 1, because now you want to retract those 2 actions, verbal and an action, with 1 verbal, and that doesn't work. In other words, what Shlokish is saying is, I never said that 1 dibur could be mevatel another dibur. I'm sorry. Rish Lakish is the one that says that you cannot retract. Lo yasa dibur umevatel dibur. Says Rish Lakish, no. Asa dibur umevatel dibur. Typically speaking, I agree to Reb Elchanan. Asa dibur umevatel dibur. However, in this case, it's not a dibur; it's a dibur and a maisa. So again, there's no argument on just dibur versus dibur. Just he used the lashon. It's not a like us dibur about the dibur. He used such a lashon because he doesn't really count it as a true action. He wasn't mekadosh her; he just gave her money. But there's no kiddushin then. So maybe you can't really call it action. That's why he called it a dibur and a dibur. Says the Gemara, Eisvei. Hashiliach get lishto v'gia b'shliach. If a person sends a divorce, a get to his wife, v'gia b'shliach, and he takes it back, or he himself caught up, the shliach said stop, or he sent another shliach, another agent after the first shliach, and says, take it back, I don't want to give that get. It's a get, it's bottle, why? The Gemara wants to compare. Giving the get is like giving the woman a Kiddushin. He said giving a Kiddushin has a little bit of action. So here also. No, giving a get to an agent is not action. It's just dibur. He said, go divorce her, that's words. It's not like giving Kiddushin that with this money she's going to be mekudesh. Gave the agent a document. That's nothing. There's no mice in that. Okay, now it's Rish Lakish's turn to ask on Rebbe. Call Akelim Yerdin the day to Masam Machshava. Ve'noyim day to Masam Ela B'shini Ma'isa. So, in order for a kli to become tamei, let's say a sheretz, one of the Shemona Sheratzim touches a kli, becomes tamei. Only if it's a complete kli. If the artist making this kli decides it's finished, I'm done, great. So let's say he decided, well, it needs another polish. And then he thinks to himself, you know what, I'm not going to polish it a second time. I'm going to sell it as is. So that machshava, that thought, makes it into a kli. So kol hakelim yardim l'dei tumasim, they become susceptible to tuma b'machshava by a thought. Now, if you want to say a kli that's already susceptible to tumah, you want to say, well, I'm going to give it another polish, that's not enough. Now you have to change, you have to do something in the kli to make it non-susceptible to tumah. Daf Nuntes Omud Beis. Sponsored for all those in need of Refuah Shlema, Amen. And back innovations, in honor of my uncle Reb Elchanan Pressman, as a zechus for a year filled with bracha and mazel. Hatzlocha and Parnasa B'Revach for all the MDY family. Zog the Gemara. Great, that's working. Maisa, we continue. But if you take action, that is enough. Moitzi miyad maisa miyad machshava. Action, to break something, to cut something, to make a hole in a kli, that, or whatever the action is, that could undo action. And certainly it could undo a thought. Machshava yimitzia loy miyad maisa, veloy miyad machshava. But a thought alone is not strong enough not to undo another thought and not to undo action. I get what you're saying, that that a machshava cannot undo action. You took action already. It's a full-fledged kli, and you want to undo it just with your thought. That doesn't work. But one machshava should undo another machshava. In other words, machshava, dibur, the same kind of idea. Nothing happened. I thought about it. I said something. But one should undo the other one. You, Reb Elchanan, say that also dibur mevatel dibur. One verbal command can undo a previous verbal command. So how come one machshava can't undo another machshava? Says the Gemara, it's just interesting. We're talking about a machshava, that I could change an object. The where this object is going. Is it a finished kli, not a finished kli? Can it be mekabel to not be mekabel? All in my head. Just mentioned the other day that Yiddishkeit is all in the head. What you say? So this is a beautiful example for that. Is in the Mishnah Berurah. The Mishnah Berurah says that a person who works in tefillin, let's say he's a sofer, he's writing tefillin, he's pater from tefillah, pater from Shmoneh Esrei. Why? Isaac ben mitzvah, pater ben mitzvah. Says the Mishnah Berurah that that's only if he thinks while he's doing it that he's doing it for the mitzvah. But if he thinks to himself, I'm writing this sefer Torah because I want to become wealthy. Hey, they pay $100,000+ for sefer Torah. You know what? How much money I can make? Wow, I could do a sefer Torah a year. Unbelievable. That doesn't allow him to not daven because he's not Isaac ben mitzvah. So again, you have two soferim. They're writing the same exact speed. They go to the same mikvah, same quill, everything. But one thinks to himself, I'm doing this l'shem shamayim for mitzvah, so another yid should have a period tefillin, another yid should have a sefer Torah. He doesn't have to daven Shmoneh Esrei because he's Isaac ben mitzvah, pater min mitzvah, because Yiddishkeit is in the head. The other guy who says, I want to make money, he does have to daven Shmoneh Esrei. Says the Gemara, Shani machshava de tumah dechim ma'aseh dami. No, it's different. When it comes to tumah, that's different. That is considered, the Torah considers it a ma'aseh. How do we know? So the Gemara says, Ukud Rav Papa. The Rav Papa Rami. Ksiv ki yitain, v'karina ki yutan. Again, we have this word yitain without a vav. But we read it yutan. Yitain means that the person, so let's go, we're talking about mukhshir l'kabel tumah, hechshir l'kabel tumah. So take a look at the slide. See over here, slide number, it says 1 on it, but it says yitain and yutan. Yitain means that he'll put water on it. Because in order for a fruit to be susceptible to tumah, that if a rat touches it, a dead rat touches it, it becomes tameh, only if you put water on it, the Torah says. But we read yutan. Yutan means that it will be put on it. The water will come on its own. So Rav Papa says, I don't understand. You're putting the water on it, or it comes by itself. Because the Torah doesn't have a vav there. And you could read it yitain. But we read it yutan. As if there's a vav there. Okay, so how's the work? Okay, so ki yutan dumi dechi yitain. Yutan is like yitain. Ma yitain, the nichale. Again, so why did the Torah not just put a vav there? Because the Torah is trying to say that the yutan, the water that comes down from rain, is exactly like yitain. If you have in mind that I want this rainwater, then it works to be machshir l'kabel tumah, and then the fruit becomes tameh. But if I don't want the rain, because it's not yitain, that's why I took out the vav. That it has to be like yitain, that I physically put the water on it. I want the water to be it. In other words, his thought operates over here. You see that when it comes to tumah, a thought is like a maisa. It's like as if I put the water there. Great. Rav Zvid, the Gemara says, now we're going to have a little bit of a freebie, because it's very, very similar to what we learned up until now. However, with a slight variation. Before we were talking about in Rosh Lakish that there's a dibur and a maisa. He says, I want to get married to you, and he gives her Kiddushin. Now, we're going to say no. Rish Lakish says that there's no Maisa. Now what? Reb Zvid Masni Lo Shmai Tzaha. Reb Zvid, the Machlekes Reb Rish Lakish is on this. She told an agent, go ahead and accept Kiddushin from so-so. Meanwhile, she snuck away and she became Kudeshes to a second person. If she was first, she's engaged to the guy that she got engaged to. And if the agent beat her to it, then she is not Mekudesh to the second one. What if she wasn't Mekadesh herself? She just took it back. She doesn't want to marry. She heard something about the guy. He's a terrible guy. She doesn't want to marry him. Oh, so I have to show you in the Chiyutan. Sorry, let's just go back. So Avremi, you could put in all these charts here. Here it is. Here's a fruit. It's on the tree. It's locked at a tumah. There's no tumah. It's tar. If it rains on it and somebody touches it, it's still tar. If it's detached from the tree and somebody touches it, it's tar. But once there's water on it and you want the water to be on it, now it becomes mukhshir l'kabel tumah. So then if somebody who's tamei touches it, then the apple becomes red, it becomes tamei. Okay. Says the Gemara. So now we're in this machlokes of Rebbe and Shlokish. Rebbe Elchanan Pressman, Shlokish Amar ein chazares. Let me just see if we have here something. Here we have the Lishna Basra, Rav Zvid. So Rebbe Elchanan says she could take it back. Why? As we'll see. Shlokish Amar ein chazares. Rebbe Elchanan Pressman, why could she take it back? Why can she accept Kiddushin from somebody else even though she sent an agent? Because she just told the agent to do something. That's a dibur. And another dibur, another machshava, could undo that dibur. Now, there's no mice over here. It's just her machshava. I want to break this Kiddushin. It's one dibur against another dibur. In other words, forget her, when she sent an agent to go accept Kiddushin, that agent didn't have a maisa, there's no action that was taken. She just told that agent, go ahead and accept Kiddushin. So it was just plain old words. So plain old words, over here Rish Lakish says, I could break those plain old words. Rish Lakish says, I cannot break those words. I don't even need an action in order not to break those words. Without action. So that's the difference between the first lashon and the second lashon. Here you can see in the slide. Yoshi doesn't really put in. Oh, it says over here, Maisa Katan. Very good. I like that. Lishna Kama, according Dibur, Mevatel Dibur, Dibur Einu Mevatel Dibur, and Rish Lakish and Reb Elchanan, with a little Maisa. Great. Lishna Basra, Dibur is not Mevatel Dibur. This is all in Rish Lakish. Yeah. Just see. Here, Reb Elchanan, Rish Lakish, great. It just over here explains it with a little Maisa versus the non-little Maisa. The Lishna Kama had a little Maisa of Kiddushin. The Lishna Basra didn't have. So guess what? Now we have a freebie because now we had all these questions from before. As Reb Elchanan Shlokish, Bitel, Imachli Torah and Bitel and Truma. A guy sends somebody to take Truma, and then he takes it back. So it depends if his agent took the Truma or not. So you see that you could be mevatel agency with another dibur. It's talking about that the owner came ahead and he took the truma from it. So that's an action. He took action. We just said a moment ago that if a guy's making a kli and he decides that he's done, he wants to sell it as is, so it's susceptible to tumah. But if you want to make it non-tamei, you have to do something, you have to change something. Action could break action and thought. machshava, but a thought, just a thought alone, you cannot break an action, and you can't even break a thought. I can understand because words cannot break action. According to Reb Elchanan, how come one machshava can't undo another machshava? It's different because when you're talking about tumah, the Torah considers it action. Ugurav Papa, the Rav Papa Rami, Rav Papa had a contradiction. The Torah says without a vav, and we read it with a vav. How do you explain the contradiction? That when the water is put on it from an outer source, it's similar to when you put it on yourself. Just like when you put it on by yourself, you are happy with it, you want it. So too, when it rains on it or whatever, you are happy with it, you want it. But if you didn't know about it, then it's not Mosze Szlafrok. If somebody sends a messenger to divorce his wife and he beat the shliach to it, he caught up with the shliach and he told him stop. It's a dibur against a dibur. You see, one dibur can cancel another dibur, and that's a problem with Rish Lakish to Yufta, the Rish Lakish to Yufta. Says the Gemara. The halacha is like Reb Elchanan that I'll say dibur mevat dibur. One verbal command could undo another verbal command, and even where there's a little bit of action involved, even where the husband gave his kala money for Kiddushin, and it's only going to be chal in another month, so it's a slight action. Even so, another command could break that first command that has a little action. Even though it's similar to action, because he gave her money. As Gemara says, we have a contradiction in halachas. You say the halacha is one dibur is mevatel another dibur. We also say the halacha is like Reb Nachman. Because he asks. If a husband sends an agent to divorce a woman and then he retracts, could he use that get a second time? Reb Nachman Omar chayzim megarish bo, you could. Rav Sheshes Omar ein chayzim megarish bo, you cannot. V'kaim lo nechus k'yov say the Reb Nachman. How can you use the get? You mevatel your agency. How? With dibur. But you can. The halacha is like Reb Elchanan that you could be mevatel one dibur with another dibur. So over here you mevatel the agency to begin with, so I can use the get again. According to Reb Nachman, I can use the get again. I thought you mevatel. So the Gemara says the obvious answer. Need the batli torah shliach. The Torah is get loy batli. He never canceled the get. He never said I don't want to use the get again. He says I don't want you to deliver the get. That's different. So therefore you can use the get again. So we learned in the Mishnah that if a person is mekadesh a woman after 30 days, and then a second person came and he got married, he was mekadesh within the 30 days, she's mekudeshes l'sheni. Says the Gemara, Omara mekudeshes l'sheni lo'ilam. She's mekudesh the second one forever. Ushmulamar mekudesh l'sheni ashleshim yom. The first guy was mekadesher la'achar shleshim yom. He gave her Kiddushin today, and it should work la'achar shleshim yom. So Shmuel says, no, all he wanted to do is saying, listen, if the first guy dies, then the second guy steps in. Shmuel mekudesh l'sheni ad shleshim yom la'achar shleshim yom pa Kiddushin sheni v'gam Kiddushin rishon. Shmuel says, very interesting. The second guy has no business being married to her forever. He can marry her up for 30 days. Because the guy said, I'm giving you Kiddushin today, the first guy, giving you Kiddushin today, and she'll be chal after 30 days. So if the second guy steps in, he gets to be married to her for 30 days, and after 30 days, there's no more second guy, he goes back to the first guy. How in the world could you have somebody that's married, and all of a sudden he's not married anymore, without a get, without the death of a husband? How could she be married to the first guy? What happened to the second Kiddushin? Because you asked it in the wrong, you understood that on the part of the Mishnah that we just said, but in fact it wasn't said in that part of the Mishnah. Rav Yehuda learns it on the second part of the Mishnah. Not that you should be married That's the second part of the Mishnah. It starts today, ends in 30 days. So it actually started today. So on that, Rav says, since it started today, ends in 30 days, so now I have a big suffix. I don't know who she's Mekudesh to, so she's Mekudesh, Vein Mekudeshes. She's Mekudesh and not Mekudesh forever. Not that she there's a suffix though, the suffix only lasts for 30 days, for the first 30 days. So after 30 days, then there's no suffix at all. Then the first Kiddushin obviously are going to be finished because he started today and ends in 30 days. He said specifically, mi'achshav, from now till then. Not, here's the Kiddushin and it should be only in 30 days. It starts mi'achshav, from now, and ends in 30 days. Says Gemara, why? Rav is not sure when a person says mi'achshav, did he regret it? Did he all of a sudden say, you know what? No, we're not getting engaged now. We're getting engaged after 30 days. Or perhaps it's a condition. It's going to start now. And if I decide I'm giving myself a trial period. If I decide within these 30 days that I don't want to be married to you, then we won't be married. Shmuel says, no, that's exactly what it is. It's pashut. He says, ma'achshav, he's not trying to retract anything. He's explaining. It starts today, and we'll be married forever in 30 days. But if I don't like what's going on here, then we're not going to be married. Or if we look at that in Tanoi. So Rav and Shmuel or Amoraim, they argue really in the machlokes of Tanoi. Then what? If a person says, you should be married, I'm giving you this get from today, mehayoim, and it should be chal after he dies, get vein get. It's a suffix what he meant. Did he mean that the get should be today, or did he mean it should be after Misa? There's no get after Misa. Rabbi Omer, because they get, it's mamish tonight. I'm giving it to today if I die. Says the Gemara, if that's the same machlokes, v'neimer Rav alach Rabbanan. So Rav says exactly like Rabbanan. So he should just say, I pass like Rabbanan. V'neimer Shmuel alach Rebbe. And Shmuel shouldn't pretend like they're making a new machlokes. Shmuel says exactly like Rebbe. Says Gemara, no. Tzricha. If Rav would just say, oh, alach like Rabbanan, Amina Hasam. That's only halach like Rabbanan when it comes to get, because he's trying to get away from her. Maybe he agrees that he's not retracting. Actually, he's just explaining that he's doing a condition because he's trying to get married. It's only over there that there's no get after Misa, because he says, I want this to be now, from now and after death. Everybody knows there's no such thing as get lachar misa. But over here, where it's possible for Kiddushin to happen after 30 days, maybe he'll agree to Rav, tzricha, and therefore I need the case of Gerushin, I need the case of Kiddushin, machlokes in both. Rabboisai, have a wonderful day.